So today on Project Shop, I got my 55-ton Ramco out, and we're going to start the assembly of the stator wrecking machine. So these are the pieces I got. I paid, I forget, you know, maybe $600 or $700 for this, and maybe $500 for this blade. These are real deal stator electric motor cracking and stator splitting blades. Basically, this thing here will split that down through there like butter. Okay. So what we need to do is make a couple jigs like this, the way this is designed. I'm going to have 3 different jigs to slide in and out of here, and we'll pin them to hold them in place. And so we need to use this plate I have to make a bunch more of these. Basically, this was just a homemade deal. As you can see, this is not hardened and did not last. This is supposed to be hardened and you know, made for the job. So originally this was a 55-ton press. It was American made Ramco industrial 110,000 pound press, and I blew the seals out of it. This was the original 55-ton. You can see I heated it up and I had to get the thing out, and I destroyed it trying to get it apart. So we're going to replace this 55-ton 10,000 psi cylinder with this 100-ton Enerpack 10,000 psi cylinder, and really send it. You know, we're going full send over here. We ain't playing around. We're going to crack all the motors and be able to extract the copper out of such things like that 700-pound stator right there, and all of these this whole pile of stators we got going on back over here. Okay, we're gonna rip the copper out of all of this shit. Now this thing here was originally set up for the 55-ton cylinder the way it was, so we're gonna have to do some modifications to this, cut this off to accommodate this big boy right here. And then on this side, since we're going with a thicker plate, this is 3/8, we're going with this 1/2-inch plate. We're gonna have to cut these rails off and make 3 plates 1/2-inch thick that are gonna slide in here, and this will just kind of go away. We can cut it up and use it, or just keep it around for memories. I don't know. But once we get this up and running, then we're gonna have to dial in this thing right here. Now I had this working before. This thing hangs on a tool balancer and basically just pulls the copper out of the stators. Once you get it split, you know, you hold this back in there and just pull the copper out. So real simple concept, and in my opinion, this style of machine is going to be the most versatile, because not only will I be able to do electric motors, stators, I'll be able to do transformers, AC compressors. Obviously the AC compressors, we got to cut them open, which will be another machine. I got a really awesome way we're going to cut them open. And we're just going to kind of do an assembly line like I did with the transformers, and just break down motors, have like a couple different stations. But we're going to start out with this machine here, and this machine here is going to do every single operation that I need. And then once we get that dialed in, we'll start splitting off and add in different operations to where it can go to 3 different stations. You know, crack it, split it, and pull it. So right now I'm going to get the time lapse up, because we need to get this base somehow mounted up to the end of this table, and then get that thing flipped over and inside it. And while I'm figuring all that out, Steve's going to cut this off, and then we're going to start, maybe we'll just torch them. They ain't got to be super critical. Okay, this is what we got so far. I'll put a center line on here. We're gonna center this with the table. It's actually gonna hang kind of halfway off. So when we're running it, you know, we're kind of right here, you know, in the middle, and we can still slide. We're gonna put a piece of triangle here. You can slide some big motors up on here and start cracking. Okay, here's where we're at. We need to make 4 legs that basically can adjust. So I broke out the old Miller-Matic 250X, okay? Been probably 3 years since I used this. I haven't used this since my last shop. So I'm pretty stoked that it just fired right up and laid down some nice bead. Now I'm no welder, but you know, we're gonna just send all this shit. Basically, we got these here. We're welding into there. We got enough stuff right here to build 2 legs. We're just gonna have to make 2 of these plates. Then that's it. Once we get that leveled and standing on its own, you know, 4 feet, then we can cut this plate. Actually we'll drop that in there first, get that all set up, and then I don't know how we're going to attach it. I don't really want to weld it to this plate, but I might drill like 3 holes, 3 countersunk holes, and then bolt that right there. We're just going to build it here, get it operational, you know, functional, work out the kinks, and then we're going to take it all apart, paint it, and reassemble it back over there when I get my other plate in there. So we pretty much have everything for this, except for we're going to need another hydraulic ram for over here and something to power it. So we might need to get another power unit. Okay, so I had this really weird piece of 1/2-inch plate laying around forever, and basically we need 3 of these. This isn't 1/2-inch, so we can't even use this. But we need 3 of these for 1/2-inch, and we need 2 of these, it's hard to see, to replicate this. Okay? So, instead of cutting it out of this nice big piece here, I can utilize this to drop in here and give me my plate. Because then, I think it's 3/4, that's 1/2-inch. So we'll be over 1 inch thick of press in here. And we got to put a V-block in here with a slice for our thing to come down. So we're pretty much going to have all of our steel. Then the notch that I take out of here, we can use for, you know, we're going to need 2 strips that run along here on either side with holes to clamp the blades in. And we might even be able to cut them strips out of all the excess in here. So we'll see. All right, so we're gonna cut this up so that we can get it up on the table.
I don't think it's gonna fall if I cut this first.
I'm on fire watch. I don't know what's going on back there. We're just gonna hose everything down.
Yeah.
So we don't burn the shop down.
You want to lose this thing?
Yeah. Woo!
Come on, baby.
Too close to it, man. I'll put my glasses on for this. Burning rusty metal sucks sometimes. Are you resting that right on there?
Pretty much. Take this off. You ready? What do you think?
Here, bring this back here. Now I'll stand on it. Sweet. He's gonna freehand it. Man, why do you think it's popping like that?
Am I hurting the aluminum?
Hell no. Something happened, dude. You got off.
Huh? Yeah, I can't see what the fuck.
You need to get on this side. Ah, that got down to my boot. Man, that just fried my lens.
What do you mean?
Okay, we're pretty much done for now, but we got all the legs cut. I'm getting a lot of splatter. Normally this thing doesn't splatter. Steve thinks it's because that wire is kind of rusty. It's been 3 years since I ran this machine, so normally it doesn't have splatter, but we are laying some bead down on there. So it's doing the thing. We got our pieces pre-cut here for the blades. So what we need to do now is come up with some. So that'll be like that. Or this one might actually have to be like that. Shit. This one here might actually have to be spaced out to accommodate this. See that? This one's gonna have to sit in there like that. Can't have it like this. I mean, I guess we could. But I want them, no, this is gonna have to be like this. So, we're gonna need a riser and something to hold it. And I might have something for it. But that's it for now. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. I didn't realize how late it was. And you know, the crazy thing is, somewhere about 2:45 in the morning, man, I heard a leaf blower outside. Some dude was out there blowing leaves around, which I've been here all night sometimes before, you know, late. Usually I'm here till 1, 2 in the morning sometimes. That was the first time I ever heard anybody out here with a freaking leaf blower. Had to grab the old Mossberg, put it on deck just in case, you know, some shady stuff was going on. But we hosed down the floor. I got some ribs cooking in the cooker there. I'm gonna hang out for a good 30, 40 minutes before I leave. Make sure nothing's burning and smoldering. And then I'll get back out on here sometime. We need to finish the legs and pull this plate, set it up on top. I'm probably just gonna weld this plate right to here, flip it over, reinforce it underneath. We need to cut a slot in here. Cut a slot in here for that splitter to penetrate down a little bit. And then we need to cut that plate so that it fits in here. We need to build some angles, which we will probably just use these cutoffs here, man, maybe. Who knows? We're gonna try to utilize as much of this scrap as we got. Build some pretty big V's, and you know, we'll at least get this thing up and sitting on its own 4 feet. So if you come this far, thanks for watching, stay tuned. We're gonna be cracking motors here soon. I'll tell you where we're going, right to the scrap yard. Watch it. Look, it's dancing. You ever seen your copper dance before?